All right, Anna, today we're talking about why practicing speaking English is so important. You've already mentioned that you're nervous when speaking, right?
Yes, it's really hard for me to speak sometimes. I feel nervous and then I forget everything I wanted to say. I always think about grammar and it makes me speak slower.
That's totally normal. Here's a tip. Try not to think too much about grammar when speaking. It's important to just get the words out. The more you speak, the easier it becomes. You'll become more fluent if you let go of that fear.
I guess that makes sense, but it's hard to not think about grammar. I feel like I'm making mistakes all the time.
Mistakes are part of the process. It's more important to focus on communicating your ideas. People will understand you even if your grammar isn't perfect. And the more you speak, the more natural it becomes.
So it's okay to make mistakes? I always thought I had to speak perfectly.
Yes, mistakes actually help you improve. Every time you make one, you learn something new. Have you ever watched TV shows or series in English? That can really help you with speaking.
Yes, I love watching Netflix, but I never thought it could help with speaking. How does that work?
When you watch shows in English, you're exposing yourself to natural conversations. You start to pick up on pronunciation, rhythm, and even new vocabulary. The more you listen, the more these patterns stick in your mind, and it helps when you're speaking.
That's true. Sometimes I find myself repeating lines from my favorite shows. I guess it's like copying what the characters say, right?
Exactly. That's called shadowing, imitating what you hear. It's a great technique for improving your pronunciation and fluency. You can pause the show, repeat what they say, and practice that way.
Oh, shadowing. I like that idea. It feels like I'm already practicing without even thinking about it.
Yes, and the best part is you can do it with anything. Movies, songs, podcasts. The more you repeat what you hear, the more confident you'll feel when it's time to speak.
I'll try that. But sometimes I feel like I don't have time to sit down and practice speaking. What can I do when I'm busy?
That's a great question. Even if you're busy, you can still practice in small moments. For example, you can read out loud when you're reading something in English, whether it's a book, an article, or even instructions.
Read out loud? That's something I've never done. So I just take a book and start reading?
Exactly. When you read out loud, you're training your brain and mouth to work together. It's like having a conversation with yourself. Plus, it helps you practice pronunciation.
That sounds easy. I always thought I needed a partner to practice speaking, but this way I can do it on my own.
Yes, and if you want to have fun with it, you can also practice singing in English. Sing along to your favorite songs. It's a fun way to improve your pronunciation and rhythm.
Singing? That sounds like so much fun. I love music, so I'll definitely try that. It won't even feel like studying.
Exactly. And it's another excuse-proof method. You can practice speaking even when you're alone. So no more excuses like, I don't have anyone to talk to.
You're right. No more excuses. But, teacher, what if I still feel shy when speaking? Sometimes I get so nervous, I just freeze.
That happens to everyone, Anna. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel. Start with small things. Even just talking to yourself about what you're doing during the day can help you loosen up.
Talking to myself? That sounds a little weird, but I can try it. What should I say?
You can describe your actions like, I'm making coffee or I'm walking to the store. It helps you get used to thinking and speaking in English without the pressure of someone else listening.
I like that idea. It's like practicing without worrying about someone judging me. I'll give it a try. But what if I get stuck and can't find the right words?
If you get stuck, don't panic. Try to paraphrase. Use other words to explain what you mean. For example, if you can't remember the word delicious, you can say, "It tastes really good."
Oh, that's a good trick. I always thought I had to know the exact word. But paraphrasing sounds much easier.
Yes, the goal is to be understood, not to be perfect. Over time, your vocabulary will grow and you'll find it easier to express yourself.
Okay, I'll practice more, even if I don't know all the words. But how do I know if I'm really improving?
One way to track your progress is to set small goals, like speaking for 5 minutes without stopping. You'll notice that over time, it becomes easier to speak for longer periods.
5 minutes? That sounds like a challenge, but I think I can do it. I'll try speaking out loud for 5 minutes every day.
That's a great start. And remember, even if it's just 5 minutes, it's still progress. Consistency is the key to improvement.
I'll do my best. I've noticed that when I hear certain phrases or words over and over again, they stick in my head. Is that why repetition is so important?
Yes, exactly. Repetition helps your brain remember patterns in the language. That's why watching shows, listening to music, or reading out loud repeatedly is so helpful. It creates muscle memory for your mouth and brain.
Muscle memory? Like how athletes practice and their muscles remember how to move?
Exactly. Speaking English works the same way. The more you practice, the more automatic it becomes. Your mouth gets used to the sounds, and your brain learns how to form sentences faster.
That's cool. I never thought about speaking like training a muscle. So I just need to keep practicing and not worry so much about mistakes.
Yes, the more you speak, the easier it gets. And here's another thing. When you practice speaking regularly, you'll notice your pronunciation improves naturally. Your mouth learns the correct movements for English sounds.
I've noticed that some sounds are really hard for me, like the th sound in think or thanks. It never comes out right.
That's a tricky sound for a lot of learners. Here's a tip. Try putting your tongue between your teeth when you say words like think or thank. It feels strange at first, but with practice, it will get easier.
Okay, I'll try that. Think, thank, thought. Wow, it does feel a little weird, but I'll keep practicing.
Yes, it will feel weird at first, but the more you do it, the more natural it will become. And remember, listening to English for long periods helps too. Your brain starts to remember the sounds, and your mouth will follow.
So, watching shows and listening to music really helps with pronunciation too?
Absolutely. When you listen to native speakers, you're training your ear and mouth. You'll start to mimic their pronunciation, and it becomes easier to say those tricky sounds.
I did notice that after watching a whole season of my favorite show, I could repeat some of the characters' lines without thinking. It's like their voices stayed in my head.
Exactly. That's how immersion works. The more you surround yourself with English, the more it becomes part of how you think and speak. You'll find yourself improving without even realizing it.
I'm definitely going to try watching more shows in English now, and I'll start shadowing the characters too.
That's a great plan. Every little bit helps, whether it's watching, reading out loud, or even singing. The more you practice, the better you'll get.
I'm excited to try these techniques. I'll stop worrying about making mistakes and just focus on speaking more.
That's the right attitude. Remember, Progress, not perfection. You're already doing great by wanting to improve.
Thank you, teacher. I feel much more confident now. I'll make sure to practice every day, even if it's just a few minutes.
You're very welcome. Keep up the great work, and remember, speaking English is like any other skill. The more you do it, the better you'll get.
I will. No more excuses, just practice.
If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure you don't miss our next video. We have an exciting and engaging topic lined up to help you practice your listening skills. Click here to watch it and keep improving your English.